Welcome back to Beaver County, a windy Beaver County today. Last time we explored about the southern half of the county and certainly the far less populated half of the county. And today we're going to be in the more northern half of the county. I've actually been to a couple of these places previously. And so there may be a little bit of a flashback to when I was here previously. But we're here at Highland Chapel and kind of out in the middle of nowhere for sure. And it's kind of interesting to see these old buildings that are still here. But if you look on the map, you can kind of see how the river goes through the middle of the county, and we're very near that area, and so there's not much in the way of a population around there. There's not much of a population in the southern half of Beaver County at all. But we will find some towns today. We'll find a couple of incorporated towns and a few other small communities. And yeah, this will be our last No Man's Land video.
This Klein Meridian Cemetery is the only evidence of a couple of communities with those names. There was a post office named Meridian from 1887 to 1893, and then in 1894, the town of Klein was founded. It was a farm town, was said to have a decently large population for the area, and they also had a school. Eventually, the town was dissolved in 1948.
After a couple cemeteries and an old chapel, we've made it over here to the eastern edge of Beaver County with Harper County. And this is Route 64 that we're going to basically follow the rest of the day. We'll go north and south of it a little bit. But there was a old railroad line that used to go through here and connected a bunch of these towns. And so as you look at an old map, you can see, how that went down this way, basically along 64. And in the southern half of the county, they didn't have that railroad. So today there's still some towns here where in the south there aren't any, hardly at all. Pretty much no incorporated towns. So we will see some towns here coming up. We're here at the little pull-off, and they have a couple of cool displays about no man's land. It talks a little bit about the history of no man's land. Really cool engraving there. And then there's another one over here that has historical sites and towns of Beaver County. So this is really cool. And a lot of the towns around 64 there that we're going to visit today, and some of the ones we've already seen, and some of the ones I maybe missed because it was hard to find them. So this is cool that it has some sort of a map here to check out, and excited to see some more. Our first town that we're gonna see here along 64 is Gate. And in my first video of No Man's Land I ever did years ago, I included Gate in that video. It's like the gateway to the Panhandle. And so let's just do a revisit of that instead of exploring the town again. I think it was a little nicer day that day. And so we'll do a little flashback to Gate and learn all about it.
Gate, Oklahoma is in the very eastern part of what was called no man's land. So it was another very rowdy place, but it was a very, very busy place. It was a very successful place. It was called Gate because it was a gateway to a bunch of ranching areas. And so it got a lot more popular and had a population of like 1,000 people in the early 1900s. And then just had a slow decline over the years, the Depression, the Dust Bowl, things like that. And today there's only 60 people. But there's certainly a spirit in this town.
Well, let me put some thought into it.
Next up is the town of Knowles. Only has 6 people in the entire town. Still an incorporated town. And because it was so small, it landed in my 10 smallest towns of Oklahoma video I did years ago. So we'll flash back one more time. This will be the last one of these that we'll do. And check out what is the 4th smallest town, incorporated town in all of Oklahoma.
Knowles, Oklahoma was originally named Sands City when it was incorporated in the early 1900s. And then it moved just slightly a little bit to the east to kind of line up with the railroad that was coming through here. And when they did that, around that time they changed the name to Knowles, and it grew and had 250 to 300 people here. And then the 1930s hit. In the 1930s, the Depression hit the farmers here hard, and then the Dust Bowl just after that came and really took its toll on this area. It got smaller and smaller, and it has gone all the way down to 6 in the latest census here in 2020. And so there's a grain elevator that is on the National Register of Historic Places there behind me. And there's some abandoned buildings, and a couple newer houses. It feels like there's more than 6 people that live here.
as we're on 64 heading west here, this is about where you would turn south and go to the county seat of Beaver. And it's got about 25% of the population of the whole county there in the town. And it's got some cool stuff to do. It's got beaver dunes, it's got some restaurants and things like that. So I've already done a video about Beaver, Oklahoma. So if you're interested in learning more about it, you can check that out.
This is Forgan, began as a railroad town when the Wichita Falls and Northwestern Railway built west from Woodward to meet the needs of farmers and ranchers in this newly settled area. The town was set up in 1912 and honored James Forgan, a Chicago banker and financier. After the railroad closed in the 1970s and a downtown fire occurred in the 1990s, only 15 businesses remained at the end of the 20th century. Due to a grant, the town rebuilt the sidewalks and installed new streetlights. Now the economy is based on wheat farming, ranching, oil and gas industry, and corporate hog farms. Seeing the population now, pretty early on it was very high, and at 605 in 1930, and then went down during those Dust Bowl and Depression years, and then back up again and then back down. So up and down population throughout its entire lifetime.
This is one of those days where the warmer it gets, the colder it gets. If you live in Oklahoma or Kansas, you know what I mean. It's like as the day goes, the temperature has risen from like 45 to 57, and it feels the opposite in what it actually feels like. It is frigid out there.
And this is Turpin, Oklahoma. This is an unincorporated community, actually, and so it's not an official town of Oklahoma. Post office has been open here since 1925, and there's over 400 people that live in the Turpin area. It was named for Carl Julian Turpin, who was general manager of the Beaver Mead and Inglewood Railroad and helped bring the railroad through this area. Eventually, the railroad was abandoned in 1972, but the Turpin grain elevator is now on the National Register of Historic Places. Our final dot on the map there is Little Ponderosa. I found a sign that says Ponderosa, but I didn't find anything that resembled a town. I think this is just a housing community. There are quite a few nice houses and several streets to roam around, but no sign of any type of official government buildings here.
Well, we've made it to the end of our exploration all over no man's land, and in this series of videos, Beaver County. I'm standing here at the exact same spot that I was when I finished up Texas County, because right over here to my right, this is Texas County. Over to my left, this is Beaver County, and then behind us, that's Kansas and Liberal off into the distance. And so I thought this would be a good place to finish up the video like we did last time. So I really love no man's land, as you can tell, like I said earlier, and kind of sad we're done. I don't know, there's some other things I can explore down here. It's been a heck of an adventure the last couple of years trying to document every dot on the map in these three counties, these unique counties in the Panhandle. And I really enjoyed Beaver County just like I enjoyed the other two counties. I got some help from a lady that lives here in Liberal named Lydia. She got me some books, and here's some pictures of some other places in Beaver County I wasn't able to go to. And then here's some more post offices that I never found either. So if you know anything about these post offices, feel free to put them in the comments. I wasn't able to find them. I didn't have a map that had any information about them or where they might be located. So, but yeah, there you go. That's no man's land. Pretty awesome, very rugged, very unforgiving, kind of like today. It's been windy and it's pretty chilly out now. But I hope you enjoyed no man's land, and I'll see you down a back road. Now that you made it to the end of that video, let me tell you about some of the extras on the channel. One of the things you can do is become a member. There are 3 levels of support. There's supporter, producer, and executive producer levels. All 3 have different levels of fun incentives and perks. If you haven't done so, please check out travelwiththewiseguy.com. There are lots of extras on there to explore. One of them is merchandise. We have Travel with the Wise Guy coffee mugs, Death Go Round t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and all sorts of fun things to show your support of this channel. Also on the website is a custom Google map. I've dropped pins in every place I've visited and linked the episode to each location. This seems to be a very popular feature for many of you. Also, sign up for my free newsletter that goes out about once a month. There are all sorts of links and tidbits on this page, old videos, podcasts, and just about everything I can think of I throw on the website. For all that information and more, go to travelwiththewiseguy.com. And now, the reason you're probably here, the outtakes. Welcome back to Beaver County. We are going to explore the northern half of the county. Last time we left off at Lake Chambers. What was it called? This was a tricky one to find, but I found it. Sorry for all the wind, but that's pretty cool looking. Low rider, that's for sure. Spins pretty well once you get it going. 7.5. I found another one by the water tower in the city park. A little more old school. Spins well. Good paint job. Looks like the town colors are red and white. Stopped already. Not too bad though. I like it. We'll give it a 7.